So I'm the founder of DigiMe, and you'll see that my messaging is very similar to Katrina's and Benjamin's, just said in a different way and with a different implementation. But we are saying the same thing. And what are we actually saying? Well, most people are saying it's privacy or personal data using it. You can't have both. But that's wrong. That is wrong, and I'm going to prove that. It just requires a change in perspective. You can share more whilst having greater privacy. Seems like an oxymoron. Google, Facebook, and all the rest of it, they know everything about you. There is no privacy. Well, there's certainly a privacy challenge, but they actually don't know all about us. Actually, the data that they have is actually quite thin, and it's 30 to 50% wrong. So we'd like to have rich data, data that is across all of our categories, is deep in time, is 100% accurate. And can we have that with greater privacy too? Yes, we can. And so I'm going to try and prove those two things. So we enable what we call the Internet of Me. So today, you heard from Benjamin, all our data scattered around in silos. Well, we know that. So the problem is we have none of it. And as I said, businesses only have a very small amount of it. So what we do is you download DigiMe to your device. That DigiMe on your device will go and get your data and put it into whatever personal cloud you want, whether that's Google Drive, or OneDrive, a NAS drive at home, all fully encrypted, so it's completely private. And DigiMe doesn't see, touch, or hold that data. So it's 100% private, very secure, because it's distributed and fully encrypted. You now own and control all your data, whether that's social, health, financial, etc. This exists. We've already got 400,000 users out there and others. I want to repeat that we, the company, the provider of this service, don't see, touch, or hold that data. And that's the important point. You own your own data from here on in. And now, as Benjamin quite rightly said, you now are the best source of data than anybody else. Google, a Facebook, a bank doesn't have anything like the data you have. Imagine you've got all of your social data going back 8, 10 years. You've got all of your bank data, all of your health data, every position you've been. IoT, wearables, etc. And if you don't believe me, come and have a look. I've got 15 social networks, 8 years worth on my phone. And I can just demonstrate I can find anything, do anything. So why wouldn't a business come to you? Why would they go behind your back for data that costs more, isn't permissioned, isn't very good, when they can come straight to you, virtually for free, because the value proposition, and get better data? Well, of course they would. And that's what we enable. And so we call that the Internet of Me, where you're bringing that together. It's a very simple premise. It takes quite a bit of software, quite a bit of skills to bring that together, but it's a simple premise. So just in summary, you import your data via your device. You've got to make it useful for you, the individual. So we provide a nice user interface for the individual to be able to see their data, to be able to search it, and get insights from it. So we're the librarian for the individual, and then a business can ask for that data for a value exchange, not just for selling it, but service, convenience, and reward. And so DigiMe is your postman. We're just a service layer, and you, the businesses, can think about, what does that mean? What new things can you do? Okay, I'm not going to go through all of this in detail. We have a very good consent certificate system. You can get rich data. We charge almost nothing for it. I'm not here to advertise. Go and have a look at digi.me/video. What I want to do is show you some use cases. So let's think about today, creditworthiness. There's a lot of people don't have a good credit score. Funnily enough, I'm one of them, because I don't borrow any money and only used one credit card. So if I wanted a mortgage, I'd find it hard to get one. But in the new world, the bank could say to me, hey, Julian, can I actually see the last 5 years' worth of your digital transactions? And I could say yes now. And DigiMe, on your device, or my device, would pass that 5 years' worth of data to the bank, who could crunch it and come up with a credit score. They couldn't do that today. But actually, even though that's a good use case and people will do that, the number of people who'd want to give away 5 years' worth of their financial information isn't that high. It's a lot of detailed information. And actually, the bank is sitting there going, 5 years' worth of data. I've got to protect that and secure it, make sure it doesn't leak, and there's a cost associated with it. But that's how we do business today. DigiMe enables it to be done much better. But hold on a moment. All of this information is effectively on my phone in my own infrastructure. So why don't I just download the bank's app, give it permission to see 5 years worth of data on the app, on the device. It calculates it locally and only sends the credit score back to the bank. That's pretty cool. I've just shared an enormous amount of data, but I haven't really shared anything other than the credit score. But the bank knows it's got a perfect credit score. You can do an awful lot when you bring the processing to the data. You don't always have to have the data, and that's good for the individual. It's good for the bank or the business, because you can have all sorts of new use cases when you do this. Right? You can ask me for masses of data, and I'm going to say yes, because you're really not taking it off. You're just doing results or providing new services. So you can, as a business, ask for more data than even Google or Facebook have today, and I can still have my privacy. Crazy, but it's true. And this app is being built right now and will be released in Q1 next year. So we wanted to show what it would be like if the personal data ecosystem existed in a country, not just with some people and a few businesses, but a whole country doing it. So that's Iceland. So we chose Iceland, small number of people, first world in terms of banking, health, and all the rest of it. We worked with the government and everybody else. And would you believe this is now the first country in the world that will give you back your electronic health record, right? It has been implemented. This is actually what has been done. It took us 6 weeks to design it with the Icelandic health team, get that implemented, and 1 week to bring it into DigiMe. So this is all going to be released in January. But along with that, we've got the telcos, the banks. So in January, or February, depends when various people get their act together, every Icelandic citizen will have all their social data, all their health data, all their bank data, all their telco data, all their wearables, and quite a lot of other pieces of information too, and can build on it. So what does that mean? Well, there is a very large insurance company, and if you bother to look in the news, you'll find out who they are if you type in DigiMe and insurance company, but I won't say it here. They're building an app on DigiMe. Now, why on earth would a health insurance company be interested in doing that? Is that to work out you've had a heart attack and therefore up your premiums? No, they're not interested in that at all. What they want to do is reduce their costs, and their biggest cost is because we are unhealthy. We get unhealthy. So if they can help you stay healthier, you benefit and they benefit. Completely new use case. Very simple. Wow, never thought of that one before. They couldn't do it before. Now they're building this app, allowing you to view your data, which has been proven in big studies in the States with 6 million people and everything else, will help you be healthier because you get more involved, better conversations with the GP, understand your health, give you advice, and help you share it wherever you go. It's actually hugely beneficial for health systems and everything else as well. This app is being built. You can see what's happening, right? That is released in Q1 next year. This Internet of Me, right, API of Me, whatever you want to call it, it isn't happening in 2 years' time. This is happening right now, right? This same app will be released in the States in Q2 for all their health data and everything else. Various screens, you don't need to look at that. And here's just a simple thing. This, today, if you have diabetes, you're at risk of your retina being damaged. It costs the UK £100 million a year to bring people in for trials or testing. They only need 5 data points, but they can't do it. But if you've got your information in your DigiMe, you can have an app which is constantly monitoring it, telling you whether you need to go to the doctor. That will save, and this is a proven study with 10,000 people, 40 million alone, just one tiny little app. Trust me, this doesn't take very much to build at all. Right? The number of new use cases are immense. Now, notice I've done banking and health. I haven't really done all the normal marketing and advertising. Loads of those too. But there's innumerable new use cases when you can ask individuals for the data. Businesses can get rich data, and I mean really rich, not this poor stuff you buy today or that you've got, or big data is really very poor when it comes to the individual. You can now have wider, deeper, 100% accurate, fully permissioned, meeting every Data Protection Act in the world data, direct from the individual at negligible cost, meeting privacy, because you can process it mostly on the device. And if you don't want to, you can still take it off device. So pharma may ask for your full longitudinal data. You might give them that for a cancer study or something. So you can choose which route you want, but you can access that data. And the individuals can share more whilst having greater privacy. So I can share everything with that health app. None of it's leaving my device. I haven't shared anything. So the key thing is to think differently. It's not to think the way we've thought before, with data all flowing around everything else. Once you own it as an individual, actually you can implement completely different ways of engaging with an individual. And that's no different to the way we are with businesses. You know, when SAP in the 80s brought all business data together, right, you didn't throw all your business data to the world, you brought apps and other things in, and sometimes you shared it. So we're just treating individuals as grown-ups. Makes a hell of a difference, and that's how we'll unlock value for all of us. And that's why things like GDPR is a positive benefit, because it forces us to think differently. Thank you.